The other one is also in terms of the limitation of the tuning. Back to the thing is those solutions, right? When they want more performance, right? Everyone talk about performance. When they want more performance, the easy way that they have mostly is like you add more compute power, which is again go back to the cost, right? That is quite unpredictable.
GreenLake solution is basically is co-engineered solution with Vertica. I mean, in the conversation, we keep hearing that customer like cloud because of the cloud operational experience, and that's where HPE can help customers, right, have the same cloud operational experience, consumption based, but it's more for private cloud and running on an enterprise grade platform, both compute, network, and storage.
When he said it comes back to Vivek, so what actually comes back to you, Vivek?
The subcluster technology which he explained has a fantastic future because you can have different kind of business groups, business units. They will be scaling in and out independent to each other. So when I say that, that means anything which is happening on one particular BU, let's say their job is running, it is not going to impact on other BU which is generating the report.
Welcome to our podcast. If you have a legacy warehouse solution which is rigid, slow, and not addressing the demands of AI, or you are using or evaluating a public cloud solution which is not meeting your expectation, then investing time in this podcast will be worth your time. I am your host, and we are diving into a topic that's gaining serious traction in boardrooms and IT leadership meetings alike. We have guests from Vertica and HP for this discussion. Let's start with quick introductions.
Thanks for having me. My name is Siddhisak. I'm the Vertica Principal Solution Consult, taking care of the Southeast Asia, right? So based on my experience, I have taken care and help customer in order to do the data modernization in many countries, various industry or business area, right? For example, like some customer in bank, in Singapore, in Thailand, the telecom customer, manufacturing, right? Yeah, even those public sector.
Hi, my name is Vivek, and I'm responsible for data and AI platform in HPE across APAC region. More than 20 years of experience in data platforms, and I have worked in, I think, almost all industries. I have worked in large banks within the region. I have worked with retail industries. I have worked in telco, insurance, and sometimes I work with my son also for fixing his data warehouse problems. Here in HP, I typically work with the customers who are into hybrid cloud, private cloud, and lately, last 1 year, I'm helping the customer to embark their AI journey and what are the checks and balances over there, what kind of data warehouse they have, and what is the best solution for them to embark the journey as soon as possible.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me. My name is Michael. I'm a storage solution architect, part of APAC Data Services and Storage. In IT, about 3 decades plus. I would say I would have about 20 years in storage, right? Started off as a backup guy managing customers' data to become a architect and solution. And my primary focus is basically on unstructured data. And basically in the AI era is to help customers how they can unlock the value of the data that they store. Right? We see a shift today. Storage is just no longer storage. Storage should be able to provide more insight and value of their data. Yeah.
So if we get a conversation started, the first thing is, why is data warehouse modernization becoming such a hot topic, and that too right now? I mean, any perspective you have?
As you may know, right, everyone see that many organizations right now, they have growing a lot in terms of the data size, right? And also whatever they are using right now is mostly of them, they are based on the legacy technology or traditional technology right now, right? Which is not really served in terms of the technology itself. It's not really served the data, the volume, the speed, the performance, right? Or even the real-time analytics, including those AI workload that everyone discussing or talking right now, right? And not only that, many of them, right, rush into those SaaS or the public cloud which is in the end they will see some struggling or some concern in terms of the investment, in terms of the regulatory, or in terms of the cloud lock-in. That will be the reason, one of the key reasons why many of the enterprise customer or organization, they are start to rethinking about their data warehouse modernization.
Great. So I think Sitisak spoke about the regulatory issues as well as the cloud lock-in and performance issues. From your perspective, anything that you would want to add onto these points in terms of why it is a hot topic right now?
I agree with Citisac. Specifically, in last 5 years, we have seen the customers are revalidating their strategy for the data and AIs, specifically with the AI which is coming out every 6 months, right? What they want is the elasticity, like a cloud-based model. They also want the performance, yet they also want to have a data sovereignty with them, right? They want to protect the data and the relevance for that. So I see that the strategy is moving instead of cloud only or on-premise only. It is going a hybrid and a private cloud again.
So Sitisak, you started the conversation with highlighting some of the pain points. So if we have to come down to few pain points, which are something which because of which the customers are most unhappy, so basically what those would be?
Yeah, a few things, right? That what we see repeatedly from many customer is like first thing first is about investment, about cost, because going to those like public cloud, right, is quite unpredictable in terms of the cost, because whenever they charge, it is based on the pay per hour, and also the consumption base, right? And not only that, many of those solutions also based on the pay per use, which is quite strange, because you want like flexibility, but you control the end user not be able to use it freely.
Mm-hmm.
They may control. One of my customer, right? They also told me that they have been control, like they can run the job, the query, or to do the analytic, right? Maybe 20, 30 query a day.
Mm-hmm.
Which is quite funny, right? That is one thing that
Yeah.
because of the cost, that's why they have to like manage that one. The other one is also in terms of the limitation of the tuning. Back to the thing is those solutions, right? When they want more performance, right? Everyone talk about performance. When they want more performance, the way or the easy way that they have mostly is like you add more compute power, which is again go back to the cost.
Yeah.
Right, that is quite unpredictable, right? The other one is also in terms of the data gravity issue.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, again, cloud, they have the egress, ingress, right? Send across and charge on those one. So with this data warehouse modernization or this kind of workload, definitely it's not just only gigabyte. We talk about like many terabyte or even petabyte. So that will be the issue when they want to do like manage those data gravity, those the egress, ingress charging that happen. The other one is that also concern is the cloud lock-in, because most of those cloud solutions, they also have their own specific solution, which is it can run on that certain cloud. You cannot just use this solution and then one customer want to move to another one. They have to like rebuild everything from scratch. And the other thing is with that cloud lock-in, right? The concern is, as you know, many of the customer, they're talking about the sovereign cloud, like Vivek mentioned, like you mentioned, right? They also don't want to throw the data into the cloud, which is a data center may not be in country, right? Data center may be from somewhere else, other country. And with this world right now, geopolitics, right? It's not okay to just throw data to some other country that we don't really know or don't have really control, right? That is the thing. Most of the customer like concerned about this, especially those customer like bank or some government which is have those regulatory or compliance.
Great. So I think cost, data gravity, and cloud lock-in.
Yes.
Yeah. So which is impacting the customers and key pain points. Michael, from your perspective, you would want to add anything to this?
Yeah, we also hear the similar frustration like City Sub mentioned, right? Vendor lock-in, and The other thing that we really hear from customer is lack of flexibility in the architecture. They realize that especially when they start small, building their data warehouse with their data pipeline and tools, and end up they see that all are basically embedded, and they find it very, very difficult to pivot out, right? And most of these customers today are looking for flexibility. They want choices, and they want the ability to access their data, whether anywhere, and consume them appropriately as the application needed. Yeah.
Great. So I think we have touched upon the issues on the public cloud side. So if there are so many issues and there are so many pain points, are we really seeing realistically cloud repat happening, or is there a kind of rebalancing happening? So maybe what's your view?
It's definitely rebalancing, right? I mean, just to give you a small answer, but longer answer would be when I say rebalancing, right? I don't mean to say that people are just moving from public cloud to private clouds and other things. Public cloud are still relevant, right? Customers love the cloud consumption model, right? The elasticity, the consumption-based model, they love it, right? But at the same time, they would like to have a data sovereignty over there, enterprise control for certain things. And what they realized is going forward, the steady state jobs or the high performing compute and analytics, right? They may not be running on the cloud because of the cost and data sovereignty, right? Because if I take an example, right? I mean, recently, couple of years back during the COVID times, right? A lot of large enterprise customers said, okay, we would like to go for pure cloud. They went over there. And initially their bills were okay and kind of they were managing with the data scientists and other things. But after 1 or 2 years, when the data grew, right, exponentially over there, they realized that whatever the bills, what they were paying X, they are actually paying 3X over there, literally 3X. And now, since they are using only the, as Citisac just now mentioned, the cloud-based only software solutions, even if they want, they can't come back to on-premise or move to another cloud. This is the real case which I'm talking about. I mean, this is what happened. And this is where we came into the picture. We strategize their cloud balancing approach that certain jobs may not be in the cloud. You do slicing, dicing, all the analytics jobs on-premise or private cloud or hybrid cloud, and then move only the small loads to cloud, which is a cloud native solutions or some other, because you want to distribute this data to other geographies and other things for other reasons, right? So that was the strategy which was relevant 2 years back, and now it's growing up in all the customers. This example which I gave is a real life example. I worked in that particular customer. It's a large bank, one of the largest banks, right? And this is what we are right now.
Interesting. Citisac, you have your perspective on this? Cloud repat or cloud rebalance?
What we have right now, right? Many of the, like mentioned, the enterprise customer organization, they are starting to think about this repatriation because, like Vivek mentioned as well, right? One of my customer, which is a big retail customer in Philippines, right? Currently, they also like having the Vertica running on both environment. One is on cloud, another one is on-prem, right? This kind of the deployment, this kind of the way that the customer is implementing right now is starting like more and more, because the customer, they, as I mentioned, right, cloud somehow is not in country, but the good thing of cloud is consumption based, flexibility that they can just provision compute very easy, compared to those traditional customer need to do the procurement, get the hardware ready, bare metal, everything, right? So that's why they will utilize the capability of the easy or the consumption on cloud, but they don't want to move their confidential data or everything like into cloud. That's why, yes, many of them, they start to realize that they have to repat back to on-prem. But what would be the solution that for them in order to manage, they still like manage that in control, secure, sovereign, right? And also be able to get the very good performance.
Great. So I think you brought a right point. What will be the solution? So if that's the question, then Michael,
Just to add, right?
yeah.
This CitySac customer, retail customer, I know that customer very well. And when they went for this hybrid approach, they were insanely happy, right? I mean, this is what we were looking for.
Great. So I think one more thing which happened to your example, maybe I want to add one point, is that when people moved to cloud and started operating in a cloud model, they also right-sized their own IT teams.
Yeah.
So now when then they want to bring back some workload,
True.
then they don't have people to manage that as well.
Actually,
Yeah.
Right.
So that's where I think this hybrid approach comes in, where not everything comes back,
Yeah.
but what
All
can
right.
come, and then we also pitch in some way in terms of managing that.
True.
Yeah. But taking the conversation forward, I think Sitisak ended his part by asking what is the solution. So I know we have this GreenLake Flex solution for Vertica analytics database. So Michael, what is this solution?
Okay, so the GreenLake solution is basically co-engineered solution with Vertica. I mean, in the conversation, we keep hearing that customer like cloud because of the cloud operational experience, and that's where HPE can help customers, right, have the same cloud operational experience, consumption based, but it's more for private cloud and running on an enterprise grade platform, both compute, network, and storage that help customer fast track to repatriate back, or if it's a greenfield, to build the data lake that they want, right? The key thing is that they get the pay-per-use as they have the experience in public cloud, but without the additional costs that like they encounter with egress and all those stuff. Yeah. And the beauty is that if they don't have enough resource to manage, if HP can provide the managed service on top of the GreenLake. Yeah.
Great. So from Vertica perspective, how you see this co-engineered solution?
Actually, it's kind of my privilege as well to work together with the HPE engineering team, right, in order to like build this kind of integration, the certification part. From the Vertica side, right, definitely it's designed to like serve those high volume of data, high performance of the processing, those complex analytic queries, everything, right, the workload, including those AI workload as well, right, machine learning. And the other thing is together with this HP GreenLake, right, Flex. So it will be like serve as a high concurrency because of the cloud native architecture that together, like both HP and Vertica, we can deliver what we call is like a cloud native architecture, but it's on-prem. So customer don't need to worry about if they want to like scale on the compute or scale on the storage. It will be like a decoupling architecture, so they can like scale it freely. Yes.
So if we delve a little deeper on this solution, I mean, what makes this different than just running a software on an IT infra? So how is this solution different?
Actually, this is not just only like a software running on the hardware itself, right? Because as Michael mentioned, it's like a co-engineer, co-validated together. So that means the solution or the architecture that we like gonna deliver or propose to the customer is already like testing, validate together in order to let customer get the best outcome, best performance, to analyze the data in real time, to analyze the data with the huge volume, huge workload.
Great. So Michael, would you want to add some perspective in terms of what are the additional differentiation?
Okay, so one of the key differentiation is that the infrastructure that we put together match very closely to what Vertica have in terms of the disaggregated compute and storage. The underlying storage that we provide, the X10000, have also a very similar architecture. So while they scaled compute with their subclusters at the storage layer with the GreenLake, we provide them flexibility to scale performance just by adding more compute nodes on the controller. If they want more capacity, they add capacity without needing to add additional controllers. So customers have the flexibility to scale. And the other unique feature is a single bucket scaling, right? The X10000 allowed you to maximize the performance based on whatever box that you have configured and put on the floor for Vertica. right? Unlike the other type of storage where they need to create multiple different buckets that add configuration complexity. So we make it a more simplified configuration for the overall architecture setup. Yeah. So at the same time, of course, you can monitor the environment, right? And then you can basically see the performance metrics and so forth. Yeah.
Great.
May I add a little bit in terms of the solution itself, right? Because as Michael mentioned, right, with Vertica together with the X10K, right, Vertica itself, we can deliver in the what we call is a Eon mode. That will be like make the concept as a subcluster, like Michael mentioned. So with that subcluster, right, customer have the choice whether they want to manage the workload. What do they want? Like this subcluster for like some transformation, this subcluster for AI or machine learning analytics, this subcluster for daily operation. That is one type of the way that you can apply. However, you can apply that subcluster concept, right, to be like this subcluster for warehouse, another subcluster for data mart, or even the multi-tenant concept. That would be the kind of the way that you can apply. And not only that, with the Vertica, beside of the data warehouse modernization, right, you still see Vertica together with X10K, which is can play the role of the data lakehouse as well. So that means you can utilize subcluster for warehouse, another subcluster for lakehouse, and then you will have a data of both worlds in the same platform, which is Vertica on X10K.
Great. So if the solution is so rich with all these features, so what are the kind of customers who would actually benefit from a solution like this?
The customer that definitely will benefit from this solution, right? First thing is gonna be the customer that have the huge volume of data, and they also want the performance, right? For sure. But not only that, because another type of customer will be like they really want to have a high concurrent. For example, like banking, telecom, right, healthcare, or even manufacturing. And also some customer that really need to have the some kind of the data analytic capability. For example, like some e-commerce, right, or digital economy, they may doing some kind of those tailor or the personal requirement, right, personal tailor requirement.
Great. Vivek, any perspective from your end?
Yeah, in my experience, what I have realized is there are like typically 3 or 4 kind of different customers. Number one customers are enterprise customers. They are using legacy enterprise data warehouse solutions, right? Now, there's no problem in that, but the current trend of the data kinds, the volume and the capacity for the analytics and all, they may not be relevant. The second kind of organizations are which grew organically in last 5 to 10 years. And what they did was instead of creating a single unified platform, they had a siloed data platforms. Right now, because in the current trend where the AI is coming up, you need the unified data platforms. The third kind of customers is who has been using the proprietary appliances. Now, because of that, what is happening is they are stuck with certain infrastructure, certain databases, certain loads. Even if they want, they can't experiment with the new technologies. So, and the last but not the least, without that, I think today discussion will go. Anyone who's looking for a high compute analytics thing, those are the who wants to embark the journey of AI, Gen AI, LLMs, and other things. Those are the customers we are looking forward to. These are the customers who are actually looking for our solutions. I just, maybe I'll take one pieces from each of them. The Electra X10000 S3 storage, right? Very, 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 solid kind of backup we have for that, right? In terms of performance, in terms of robustness, in terms of governance and other things. The subcluster technology, which he explained, has a fantastic future because you can have different kind of business groups, business units. They will be scaling in and out independent to each other. So when I say that, that means anything which is happening on one particular BU let's say their job is running, it is not going to impact on other BU which is generating the reports. So that's where this solution makes it very, very relevant in today's future.
So basically, there is a finance department, production department, and say HR department. If finance department data is scaling,
Yes,
they can scale independently without the other two departments getting impacted or the reporting getting impacted.
true.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Right.
within the organization itself,
Yeah, you
they
can have a multiple
yeah.
things, and they can underlying data is sharing, but the compute power is absolutely different. I don't know whether how many of you were there like 10 years, 15 years back in EDWs and all. What used to happen, there used to be a time clock for each BUs. From 1 a.m. to 2 a.m., this job will be running. From 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., this job will be running. 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. Okay. If anything fails, there's a daisy chain effect. And the 1 a.m. job is going to be completed at 7 a.m. and the 5 a.m. job will be completed at 12 noon. And the day is lost because of that. So that particular problem is solved by this subcluster technology along with it.
Great. I think that's very interesting. So now, if these are the features and there is definitely a need for modernization, so what will be a typical customer modernization journey look like? Sir?
Okay. Those customers, right, when they want to start to modernize, right, definitely the first thing is our team, right, like our HPE services team, they also need to starting with like assessing the customer pain point first, right? What is their pain point? What is the requirement that they really want to achieve in the future, right? And after that, definitely we also have to understand what is the current or existing data volume, the size, and also what is that growth plan. So we can like together with the HP storage and server, right, we can sizing everything proper in a proper way, right, to serve those requirements. And then after that, it's come back to Vivek again to do the migration from the traditional or the legacy to the new modern platform in Vertica and Alata X10K, right? And then after that, once everything settled, the next step is will be like reassess and try to optimize and boost the performance, right? That's gonna be the high level like cycle.
Yeah. When he said it come back to Vivek, so what actually comes back to you, Vivek?
Yeah. So the first and the foremost thing, right, which is $1 million question, capacity planning, right? The provisioning. How do you provision that? And Dusrat, when I say that, most of the time it was correct till 5 years back, but today the capacity planning, how it was done, it was done something today. My capacity is X. My data is growing at 20%, multiply by 5 plus delta, and that is my capacity, right? And traditionally, people are still doing the same thing. That's not going to work today, right? Because every second month or third month, what is happening is you are getting a new cases, AI use cases, or some other use cases. Now, because of that, what kind of data you require, what kind of data provisioning you require, right? It automatically grows exponentially. You would not know what is going to happen in the next 3 months, 6 months. So that is where the capacity planning is a major thing here. Now, to do that, what typically customer did was to save some bucks initially up, for provisioning, upfront provisioning and upfront cost. They usually under provision it. Now, yes, it's a good idea. But what happens is, because of the new use cases which are coming every now and then, the time to market hits, right? Now, who's going to benefit out of it? Their competitors, right? So this is where the GreenLake solutions, right? What we have, you don't have to go for, overestimation or over things. Whatever you have today, start slowly, steadily, right? As your capacity grows, as your requirement grows, we can increase your capacity accordingly, like cloud, without impacting your data sovereignty, performance, plus the cost. You have absolutely predictable cost. What is going to be my cost after 1 year, 2 year, 3 year? That's where the GreenLake solutions is in today's world. It's very much relevant today.
Yeah. So since you ended with cost, maybe I'll come to Michael.
Yeah.
That from a cost, transparency, and control. I mean, these are some of the elements we were talking initially when we were talking about the SaaS and public cloud. So how this solution basically addresses this, maybe in slightly more detail.
Okay, as part of the GreenLake stack, the monitoring and metering is built into the platform itself. So customer has visibility, and how much they use is also is being captured. So they know the trend and they can actually do capacity planning. So based on what Vivek and Sitisat mentioned about right sizing, I think today a lot of customers want to have right sizing. They don't want to have over waste of resources, over provision, where they invest more than what they needed. So GreenLake provide them to be able to use what they want to use, right, in terms of the resources. If they need to scale, they can scale by adding the more compute resources or more capacity as their data grow. So that gives the customer transparency that they can see it, and also cost to control the environment. So over a long period, they probably have better TCO than just growing and paying per pay for use without having the visibility in the environment. Yeah.
Great. Siddharth, you would want to add anything?
Yes. Yes, from the Vertica point of view, right? We also build in order to be like optimized in terms of the analytic workload, everything, right? And in order to align with the hardware or the customer requirement, the consumption base, right? Vertica, we also do have the concept like even the perpetual or even the subscription, depend on the what customer want, right? Whether OPEX or CAPEX like that. And also in terms of the licensing, is also quite based on the capacity, no matter how big of the data site the customer have, or some customer they want to go with the Lakehouse concept. We also have the concept of the node base as well, right? Which is quite flexible for the customer, that they can choose whatever they want, right?
Great. So every solution gets evaluated on one parameter, which is security. So from a security perspective, how this solution is robust?
For Vertica, right? The good thing is for Vertica, customer can choose whether they want to be like on-prem or in the cloud, right? So we have the capability, we have the security in order to like control and protect the issue or those breach, right? Threat that will impact to Vertica.
Yeah, just to add, right, what
Yes.
he mentioned about Vertica. Vertica inbuilt has a data encryption technology, right? I mean, any data in Vertica, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yes, it's a proprietary format of Vertica for
it's
sure.
a proprietary form. So in terms of security, it is not even possible to read the data without relevant checks and balances over there. Even you access the hard disk and everything, you cannot do that. So that's number one. The second thing, since it's coming to GreenLake and X10000, as I said, it's an S3 object storage, right? So it is literally impossible to just print out the things over there. That's not even possible over there. So that's where the security comes into the picture.
Michael, your perspective?
So I mean, from the data layer, this is the most critical part, right? So from data layer perspective, the architecture of X10000 provide encryption data in place.
Yeah.
Over TLS over network, so the data is encrypted. Nobody can see what is being transmitted. And we also offer things like immutability, object
Yes.
lock, that people cannot remove or delete the data, right? And that complements also what Vertica have in terms of data masking and tokenization.
True.
So really built into a platform that's really secure, right, for customers to run their data warehouse. Yeah.
So, no, sir, if I combine these two, right, when the data lands to the platform, right, it goes to MX10000, right, where the data is already encrypted and everything. When it moves to Vertica, or Vertica is trying to access that time also data is encrypted over there. Till the time someone with the right, authorization,
Credentials,
right?
Yeah.
Even if they get an access to these things, they would not be able to read the data itself. My only simple point is, right? So you need the checkpoints, and this particular platform has the checks and balances at every layer of data access, data movement, data persistence over there.
One key thing that I just want to emphasize is we talk about this sovereignty, right? The control, those things, which is the solution like HPE and Vertica together, right? It will address the concern that customer have compared to those cloud solution, like they have to have the data in country, right? They can control that compared to those cloud solution that don't forget that you're gonna send your data into their cloud, right? even go to the cloud or even customer deploy our Vertica on cloud is still under their control. But compared to other cloud solution, you send your data to their cloud system. You don't have the full control of your own data. But with this solution, you can have the capability of a cloud native architecture, but you still have the full control of your own data.
Great. I think that's a really good perspective around security. Now, if you move the conversation forward, see, a lot of customers also will look at how this investment or this modernization step that will take is future proofing them from the upcoming workloads of AI or advanced analytics. So, how this solution helps the customer for addressing these AI or advanced analytics kind of workloads?
As we all know, right, AI also need data, right? Unless it's not that smart, not that intelligent, right? But again, in order to get the data for AI, again, it's not just any data, right? It should be like high quality, clean data, high volume of data as well, and not just only small data set for sure. That's why Vertica is able to link together with AI. We provide a capability called like the MCP server. So that means from Vertica side, we will be like a very high quality data for AI. So that means AI can use data from Vertica in order to do those intelligent stuff, right, for the AI workload. Or even they really want Vertica to be like some kind of the source data, or in order to like query everything in the Vertica, that also possible. And again, for the AI, right, it's not limited to those public cloud AI, those public LM. Because as a MCP server from Vertica, we are able to utilize the capability of the private cloud for AI of HP, right, to be like a front end and then connect to Vertica as a data engine or the data platform.
Great. Vivek, anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, just to add further thing, right? The GreenLake provides you the integration with anything AI, ML as the need arises. You don't have to, again, emphasizing on the point, you don't have to over provision or under provision. GreenLake is the solution for you for in the current generation. Right?
Great. So, for the audience who are listening to this podcast and some customers who are planning an upgrade, if you have to give them few key takeaways, what that would be?
For the data modernization, right, or the data warehouse modernization, definitely what customer want is like to empower their own business, right? Not like to constrain or give them more limitation. They want to have more power, right? So that means because of the organization itself, right, they also realize in terms of the whatever they want, which is like definitely faster performance, right? Flexibility, cost efficient, control, right? That what they want. So that's why in terms of the solution that we are working right now, right, is kind of the proven solution. It's not just a concept. Because why I say this, because we already have the customer that really using or implementing this solution already.
Yeah, Vivek.
Okay, so the tug of war between the flexibility and the enterprise governance, right? Uh, our solution brings that to collapse completely. Right? You don't have to choose between enterprise grade performance, governance, plus the flexibility, right? So what I would say is uh, to the customers or anyone who's looking to embark the journey of the new modernizing the data platform, engage with us. For we typically conduct workshops where we access your workloads and suggest you what is the best buck for you, where exactly you need to invest in the cloud, on premise, or hybrid architecture over there. And that's where we are going to give the best optimized performance and the best buck for your whatever you have invested over there. So that's where my message would be. Don't just go for all cloud or on premise. Don't go with that. Even if you are going by hybrid cloud, private cloud, understand what actually has to go on cloud, because if you go blindly over the cloud, you don't know what is going to happen. Maybe you are over provisioning or under provisioning, or if you're just limiting yourself to entirely on the on-premise solutions, again that could be little bit outdated in the future. So go for a hybrid, engages with some kind of workshops. We will provide you step-by-step solution for you. And plus, the last but not the least, the data security, right? That is today, in today's world, I would say it is the most important and relevant thing to ponder upon, to think upon, that yes, data security is the one. Because every month, every second month, you will see there's some kind of data breach and things. You don't want your organization to be going in that.
Right. Michael?
So on my side, I think every customers are looking for future-proof data strategy. Right? So you hear Citisa talk about MCP for agentic AI, right? And that is also something that we can offer as they move from analytics to Gen AI to agentic AI, where X10000 has this feature called data intelligence, right? Where we can enrich the data and reduce the data pipeline for customer, and all the data that been ingested with Vertica Data Lake will be AI ready, right? So you want flexibility, good total cost of ownership, GreenLake Flex and the platform that we offer together with Vertica will give that customer the capability. Yeah.
Great. So thank you, Sitisak, Vivek, and Michael for an engaging conversation and very great insights on this very important topic. And for our viewers, if I have to summarize this conversation into 3 key takeaways, it would be 1, the cloud repad and the cloud rebalance is real. And from the example that we have seen, a lot of customers are evaluating that. Just because the existing architecture that we have is not addressing the needs, it's rigid, it's not addressing the AI workloads as well as the future workload which we expect it to grow, and the SaaS also is not meeting the expectations. So that is 1. Second, with HPE GreenLake Flex solution for Vertica Analytics database, this is co-engineered with Vertica, so some of these pain points have already been thought through and curated into this solution, as you would have heard from different angles, be it cost transparency, be it security, be it data sovereignty, in fact the managed services, and in fact the architecture of the complete solution is well thought through. So please consider that as part of your upgrade plan. And last but not the least, as Vivek was sharing, if you want to get started with your modernization journey, please do get in touch with us, both Vertica as well as HPE team, so that we can have some detailed workshop with you and help you curate a solution or an approach which would work best for you. So thank you for listening, and bye for now.